Who wants to walk around their house in a hoodie?
Me.
Who wants to walk around their house in sweatpants?
Me.
No, you want that heat on the right level, and you want to be comfortable.
Only reason why I ain't got a hoodie on, cause I'm doing laundry.
But
oh no, I ain't not want to do that. No, I ain't want to be sassy. No,
you are fine. What up, y'all? This is Shonda
and Nate,
and you are listening to
Baycast.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe. Hey, babe. All right. What's up, y'all? We back.
We are back. So I feel like we always say we're back because we do be taking our hiatus.
Got to agree.
Yeah. I mean, we just right now in a space of going with the flow. Like, we really just want to be intentional, authentic, and sometimes it's hard to be consistent when you're like super intentional and super authentic. So we're working to find our balance in doing that.
Yeah. Don't want to make it seem like you're trying to force things. So when we, have the opportunity to do so, we make sure we do it, and we want to make sure we do it right. So here we are. Yeah. Yep.
And so we have some exciting news. Most of you already know, those who follow us on social media. But we are having a baby.
Yeah, baby boy. So
we're having a boy. So
looking forward to seeing you.
We found out we were going to be parents in September of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And we are looking forward to welcoming a healthy baby boy in 2025 in the spring. So we're excited.
D1. If he chooses to do sports, but if so, D1.
And I definitely want to talk a little bit, not too much, about, us expecting parents, because I think that's something that as a newly married couple, we're not as newly now. We're 2 years in with our marriage. Thank God.
Yes.
But just a young married couple being together for 6 years and doing all the things, being very compatible, I guess, and people being able to see our chemistry. We always got questions, and people want to know, when are you trying to have a baby? Why are y'all waiting so long? And
none of your business. That's why.
All the questions under the sun. But I feel like we did it on our time.
Yeah.
We definitely wanted to do it when it felt right, and we just didn't want to put too much pressure on ourselves. We actually wanted to enjoy our marriage and enjoy each other.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely responsibility, and there's no going back. But like you said, it's something that we both look forward to. And, I was still a little nervous at first because it's just a child. It's easy when you have your nieces and nephews and you can just hand them right back. But when it's yours that you are solely responsible for, it's a task, but it's one that I think we're looking forward to. And, even visiting with our nieces and nephews, I'm like holding the little babies, and I'm like, yeah, I could see myself doing that. So.
Yeah. And shout out to everybody who gave us like really good feedback, and everybody who was just really just boosting us up, because that's something that I think people know about us is we love our nieces and nephews. We spend a lot of time with our family, but we spend a lot of time with our nieces and nephews as well. Like, we just love kids. And so I think that's why we also took our time with it, was because we know how precious those little people are, and we know how important they are to us. So it's like, to make the decision to bring our own into the world, to be that primary parental figure for this baby.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure we were, ready, and we were confident that we wanted to do that. So here we are.
Yep. Blessings on blessings. So God, take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel.
Yes. And we found out shortly before we went on our anniversary trip. So it was just very bittersweet. It was such a nice experience to get away with each other for a little bit and just bask in the news of us bringing in a life.
You said bittersweet. Why bittersweet?
Because it was like our last anniversary trip before
you and I.
Yeah, like just us. Just like this Valentine's Day will be our last like Valentine's Day before we have a little one. Like, it's bittersweet because it's not sad. It's just that little feeling of like,
damn.
No. It's that little feeling of like, oh, like the kids that we were.
Oh, damn.
And now we're turning into the adults with the baby,
Mhm.
which we've been adults for a minute, but we're kids at heart in some ways.
Speaking of kids at heart, we gonna go see that Captain America movie on the 14th
We're gonna go see that, and we're gonna go see the SZA and Kiki Palmer
in the
movie
same day.
one of them days. It don't gotta be in the same day, but it's gonna be like if we go see that, we going to see the other one. And if we doing that, then it should be we should go see one of them days first because it's already out.
Okay,
We
we'll
can go
see.
on the same day.
Okay, yeah, we'll get it.
You was talking about being off for Valentine's Day, so if we taking the whole day off and not doing no work,
Yeah,
we gonna go see both.
we can make a day of it.
I'm down for the superhero movie, so.
Mhm.
So, additional to us finding out we're having a baby, a little boy,
Mhm.
we also are celebrating 1 year in our house.
Yeah. So it's been quite a journey with all the renovations. Like we haven't done any inside renovations, but as far as outside and taking care of things like with like the tree and putting up a fence and you know everybody who drove by that said like welcome to home ownership, even when raking the leaves, shoveling the snow, it's been a task. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely something, but well worth it.
Yeah, and we haven't really had any major renovations. We've done some cosmetic stuff inside. We still want to do some stuff inside. It's just like that's who I am at heart. I'm a DIYer, so I like to make things my own. Like when we first moved in, the living room was like this eggshell, yellowish situation, and now we have this lovely like
Plush.
mocha plush grayish color.
I ain't
And
never said plush before.
I've never used gray and mocha in the same sentence, but it's definitely giving like grayish mocha vibes.
Yeah, no,
I love it.
you definitely did the thing in there.
I was going for like museum elegance.
Yeah, art. You see it.
But yeah, so we haven't done anything major. We do have plans for inside and outside, but we bought our house and it was pretty much solid. Like it's things that we want to do, but at the end of the day, it's a full house. It's definitely, worth what we spent. So
Yeah,
we're very thankful for that.
yeah. It would be a long time before we had to do any major updates to this house. So thankful for that. So yeah,
Yeah.
especially during the time now where
I
ooh,
don't-
I ain't gonna touch on that, but shout out to Dave, dependable Dave. So he hooked us up.
Yeah,
With,
shout out to Dave Smith, our realtor. He goes by Dependable Dave. He was very helpful in our home buying process. He took us to as many houses as we wanted to see. And when we got serious about this one, he was there answering the phone, text message, whatever, whenever we needed him to, because we definitely had to be aggressive with our offer. And thank God we got our house when we did, because if y'all been online looking at home prices and different areas or whatever, the
Mhm.
housing market is crazy right now. Like it's unbelievable to me. And I have family members and people who want homes and are looking forward to getting a home one day. And it just sucks that the housing market is so congested and like
Yeah,
some of the prices on these houses are insane.
ridiculous.
So we're very thankful that we got our house when we did. We got our house in 2023, November 2023, at the cusp of like before it started really getting crazy. So
I was looking for the down low.
so cheers to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so a little bit of what we had to do outside was cutting down trees and we got a fence put up
Hmm.
just because our yard is so big and we wanted to make sure we felt safe where it's like you got just all this open yard. It's more likely for somebody to walk through your yard. Um, and that didn't happen really when we lived here without the fence, but the fence was a nice touch. Plus we have dogs. So
Yeah, aggressive dogs be winning.
so yeah.
Yep. I'm so happy for that.
So, just thinking about a little bit of what we shared as far as our journey, and now wanting to step into a little bit of conversation around how we navigate our space together, how we navigate home ownership together, how we navigate our marriage. We've heard a lot of conversation on social media
Mm.
about gender roles, and I think that gender roles can get very convoluted and seem like
Oh, ooh boy. Don't
seem
even.
like it's just like such a back and forth of like a conversation when it really could just be so simple. I think a lot of what people talk about online is preference. And sometimes I don't understand the want to argue about preference versus, you know, what somebody wants versus the other one. Like it's one thing if a man says he wants a woman who is a homemaker.
Mm.
She doesn't have to work. It's one thing if a woman says she wants a man who's a provider, so she doesn't have to work. Like that's not to me there's nothing wrong with those things. And I think that that's the gist of what we hear online, and then there's the other layer to it.
Yeah, it's definitely coming. I notice it's coming from a place of um, thinking for yourself. So it's like I know you mentioned what the women want and talking about they want a man with money. They want a man that brings in this amount, and I want them to take care of me. Yada yada. On the other end, men's solely stuck on physical attraction. Like they want a certain physique, and then there's other men that's like you got the other group out there that's just want a decent woman who's not focused on so like material things.
Mhm.
So it's like, all right, like I'm glad I'm out of that realm. I got my queen right here. But I hear stories of guys. I'm like, man, it's tough out here. Like all they want to do is just use you, and so they don't want to be used.
Yeah.
And it's the wild wild west out here. Y'all be safe. Be safe.
No, I feel the same way. I'm definitely glad to not be in the dating pool, but I also like salute people who are single because I tell Nate all the time, like when I was single, I was happy. Like it wasn't like
Yeah, we had to double back on that. I was like, what you mean by that? Like,
that wasn't like I'm at my happiest now in my marriage to my husband.
mm,
But when I was single, I was happy. Like, and I think that's the goal is like you can get into relationships, but if you're happier outside of a relationship, then be single.
mm,
And even though we're in weird times, and I know it's tough for a lot of people who are dating, I encourage people who are single to enjoy that single season. Like, you should be happy single before you get into another relationship.
mm,
If you're unhappy single and you have to get into a relationship to be happy, then it's not gonna work.
yeah, you gonna succumb yourself to God knows what.
And it's the reason why I had so much fun when I was single is because I had fun doing things that made me happy. Like I would take myself to breakfast or whatever. Like I would go to like First Watch and just chill, get me a little small table, eat my food,
Mm,
going shopping by myself, doing like being at home by myself, like journaling, drawing, recording a podcast, whatever I was doing at the time, it was fun.
mm,
And it was something that I really, you know, I really appreciated. And also having like my time where I was had my prayer time, had my meditation time. And I think that being single and really finding your happy place, like I know Tracy Ellis Ross talks about it a lot. If the person coming along does not make you more happy, if the person coming along doesn't bring more joy to you, then stay single.
yeah.
But find that joy before you get into a relationship.
Yeah, because you gonna be doing yourself and the other person that you're trying to entertain a disservice. Because both you trying to fill each other's cup when your cup's not full, and so it's like it's gonna be a lot of friction eventually, and then it's gonna be some resentment because you're gonna feel like, oh, I'm not doing this because you have a certain preference and you trying to appease them and vice versa. So it's like, yeah, like Shonda said, take your time, find, focus on yourself, find yourself so that you can be your 100% self to somebody else when you meet that Mr. or Mrs. Right. So,
Right. And so on the topic of gender roles, because I just went off on my tangent about relationships, but that was very important.
we back, we back.
But on the topic of gender roles, I feel like there is no set role. Like in our marriage, we both wear the pants. Like
Damn straight. So say that again, babe. Say that again.
we
What we
both wear the pants, but also I respect my husband. Like me saying we wear the pants is not like, oh, I'm gonna be as dominant in our relationship as he is all the time. Like, no, I enjoy a masculine man. I enjoy a man's man, and that's why I married him. So it's like, of course, I'm going to take a position in our marriage where he is able to be in his full masculine self, and I'm able to be in my full feminine self.
Mm,
But additional to that, being in his full masculine self doesn't mean he's absent of femininity. And being in my full feminine self doesn't mean I'm absent of masculinity, and not to the same extreme. Like, he's not a feminine man. I'm not a masculine woman. But there are things in me, there's a toughness in me that exists. And he nurtures that. He lets me be my little tough self when I want to be. And he lets me be my baby self, my soft self, all of those things. And with Nate, I let him be his fully masculine self, but I also give space for his emotions, for his feelings, for his anything he wants to feel or express to me. It's not like there's not a safe space for us to be able to do those things.
Yeah, and no, for sure. Because I mean, even like for men, it's important, and like for us to realize too. It's like we just can't bottle everything up inside. Like we have to, express ourselves somehow, some way. And when you hear about, situations, between couples and like God forbid, domestic issues, it's like it's just, you know, aggression. And it's like for us men, there's more avenues for us to, let ourselves like emotionally go aside from aggression. So it's like being able to be vulnerable, being able to have a spouse that'll sit there and listen to you and, talk through your emotions with you and help you understand why it is that you're going through something at that particular moment. So it's like just having that safe space, as you said, and just, allowing your allowing yourself to feel the emotions and not bottle them up because it's gonna explode. So,
Yeah.
but
And
yeah.
the same for the woman, as far as like feeling like you are safe to express your emotions, feeling like you're safe to show the other sides of you, like not feeling like you have to stay in a space of just being timid or being smaller than your spouse. Like, you should be able to feel like you can show up fully and be on the same level as your spouse and be respected as well. But it's just a balance in knowing who your spouse is. Like, I think that people get lost in what a man and woman is supposed to do versus like, who is the person you have?
Mm,
Like, who is this person? What do they need?
yeah.
How do they function? And that's how we navigate our marriage. Like, Nate cooks, and I love when he cooks. I cook. We both clean.
Yeah.
He takes more care of the dogs, but that's because he's stronger. Like, period.
Yeah, man. Giving Bailey a bath is hell. So it's like I never seen a dog turn into Spider Man as soon as he hear water, and it is crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy the first time I heard it. And also, like, there's gonna be seasons where things will shift. Like me being pregnant, and the more pregnant I get, Nate has definitely stepped up more. Like, he's definitely doing any and everything I need him to do. And he's also encouraging me to not bend down to get stuff,
Nope.
to
Yeah.
not do too much in any type of area. And like, I think that's very important to note that it's never going to be something that's just set in stone. You have to be flexible, and you have to respect one another, and really shut out the world. Shut out social media.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in the bickering back and forth.
Mm.
The women calling the men sassy, the men calling the women uh divas, or
Anything that you see on
HOEs, or whatever the case. Like,
that 20v1 and all that stuff. I know it ain't what it, but I heard Kendrick. It ain't no 20v1. It's 1v20. All that stuff where you be popping the balloons, man. Nah, man.
I
Put
don't know
on
where
your
he got 20v1 for.
Kendrick.
I'm sure it's probably a show or something out there with that, but the
It's what you be watching.
no, Pop the Balloon Challenge is different from 20v1.
Well,
The
what?
20v1 one that you be looking at be when the girls come out and the guy like pops the balloon instantly or something, like one by one. The girls come out.
Them folks on there don't be doing that.
It'd be a line of people with balloons, and then one person comes out and pops balloons, but it definitely don't be 20 people
Oh,
at all. That would be a long show.
but anyway, but that whole show period, I'm like, psh, I don't know, man. It's social media generation, man. It's like I'm talking as if I'm older than what I am, but I'm just like, it, it becomes brain rot.
It
It's,
does.
when you get scrolling and you see, I mean, I can't be on one side and not speak on the other. It is entertaining.
Hmm.
I ain't gonna lie, but it's like you got to be able to just reflect. And I mean, man, this ain't really reality at the end
Yeah.
of the day. So
And I think that's something big for relationships, like just not letting social media seep in any way. Like,
Yeah.
there's people who have aspirations to be content creators, and that takes a lot of time on social media. There's people who have businesses who make a lot of sales on social media. So social media is a great tool, but when social media consumes your everyday, like when you can't unplug, when you can't give your spouse that attention, when you are doing everything for the gram, then it becomes overkill. And then it starts to affect your relationship. But yeah, I just feel like with gender roles, especially within a marriage, they have to be customized.
Yeah. I mean, cause constantly you hear like, oh man, like the woman's supposed to be in the kitchen, woman's supposed to be cleaning the clothes, and it's like, again, you mentioned earlier, like you being pregnant, that's areas for me to step up in. Mind you, too, it's things that I should already know, or you should already know as a man to begin with. So it's like, all right, it's just like it's more so about instead of thinking about who wears the pants in a relationship, like how can we help each other? So it's more so a partnership instead of a dictatorship.
Yeah,
So
for sure. And I think we balance well. We compromise a lot. We hear each other a lot. There's times where I have to apologize. There's times where you apologize.
I've been getting better at that.
We hear each other out. It's not easy, but um it's not hard. And
Yeah,
that's something that I definitely wanted to like mention too, because I know I see people talking about marriage is hard.
yeah.
And that's no knock to them. Marriage is can very well be hard. Like,
Now, they were saying that marriage was easy.
no, they were saying it was hard.
No, I know that, but that was there was other folks that was saying like marriage is easy, but then they was coming back and telling them that it's hard.
Yeah. I think we've heard both sides. Like,
Yeah,
there's people that say marriage is easy, there's people that say marriage is hard, and I think that marriage is work. Like, that's the way I would put it. Like,
hard work.
I don't think marriage is hard.
I don't know. I'm just saying hard work, and you got to put some hard work in.
You gotta put effort in.
You got to put everything in.
But do you okay, but do
I'm
but do
like,
you think marriage is hard?
no, I mean marriage is what you make it. So it's like I don't think it's hard because I got a good spouse, a great spouse, and I think you think that I'm a great spouse. So I think by both of us just having open communication and dialogue about a situation or issue that we have, it might be a tough discussion or talks like at first, but then if it happens again, I'm like, okay, I just remember what Shonda said, or you'll be like, oh, I remember when they said, and how that made each other feel. So
Yeah.
we just communicate and just be there and just know you know that you just make that effort and like extra effort into like helping your spouse
Mhm.
in whatever it's pretty much. So
Mhm. Yeah. And I think that's why I was saying like marriage is not hard because it shouldn't be like, but it also is not easy. Like, in my opinion, I wouldn't put either of those things out there.
hmm
I think that the biggest thing is to put the effort in, to understand, to be slow to argue, quick to listen,
hmm
slow to respond, quick to listen. um, because I think a lot of times relationships get challenging when you are stubborn on both ends.
hmm
On one end, like if one spouse is trying, the other one isn't, it's hard.
yeah,
If both spouses are stubborn, it's hard. Um, and sometimes you might find some people in marriages might find that they just thought they had the one and y'all just might not be compatible. And you figure that out along the way. So no fault to people who have been married who it didn't work, or people who are finding themselves in a challenging marriage and maybe y'all are talking about y'all different options. Like, I want to be very sensitive to that, because this the comments that I'm making is in no way to tear anybody down. But when it pertains to me and Nate, I've never felt like marriage was hard, because
mm,
we both have the patience and the we put in the effort to actually like hear each other out, and to not look at each other like we're against each other.
yeah,
Like, we always approach stuff as if we're on the same team. And I think that's very important.
Yeah. Whether if it's emotionally, um, be supportive, like like for one another, or financially, and always try to pick up the pieces where, you know, where we can for each other. So yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's key. Like, there's so many things that you cover in a relationship that you just have to be open and transparent about. We're transparent about our emotions. We're transparent about our finances.
yeah,
We're transparent about things that just come up, like anything. Like if it's something that is affecting me, I'm telling him, and vice versa. And
mhm.
if he don't tell me, I'm gonna know. I'm gonna be like, "What's wrong with you? Like, what's going on?"
What's up? You acting weird. He hit me with that the other day. I'm like, you ain't never said I'm weird. I'm like,
He was being
what's
weird.
up? Nah, I wasn't. Just because I let the door open outside.
He came home, and y'all know how cold it is right now.
You don't
He
like to wear
came
none.
home. I wear clothes. Let's be
Yeah,
clear.
oh yeah, you do wear clothes. Yes, you do. But when I tell you to wear a hoodie or something when it's cold, you be like, nah, I want to be cozy.
Who wants to walk around their house in a hoodie?
Me,
Who wants to walk around their house in sweatpants?
me.
No, you want that heat on the right level, and you want to be comfortable.
Only reason why I ain't got a hoodie on, cause I'm doing laundry.
Could. But this is
Oh no,
what
I ain't
happened
not want to do that. No, I ain't want to be sassy.
You
No.
are fine. That was not sassy. It was just funny. But he came home from work, went outside with the dogs, and stood outside, which is the first thing. Because when it's cold, he'll just go out into our sunroom, open the door so they can run out, and close it so he can just be in there, but not the wind like coming in and stuff. He went in, let them out, went out with them, and was standing out there. That's the first thing. The second thing is he didn't close the door behind him. It's not like the door would lock. He just could shut the door. He didn't shut the door behind him. So the breeze is coming in through the sunroom into the living room, and it's making me cold.
I'm sorry.
That's what I meant when I told him he was being weird. That was very weird.
No, it was weird because I was looking and I was outside with the dogs. I always had that door open.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I always had that door open.
Not when it's cold.
I have it 24/7.
Whatever.
But
You
but
talking about the sliding door?
now I'm talking about this
I'm
one.
not talking about that door. You had the sliding door open and
Yeah.
that door.
Well, I had it open so that the dogs can make a quick, psh.
But it wasn't quick. That's the problem.
You know what?
But we digress.
Yep, we do. That's the other thing, fellas. Learn how to compromise.
But like, so speaking of, because like in all seriousness,
Mhm.
just to close out the conversation about just being a supportive spouse, how we kind of manage our gender roles, we both wear the pants, all of that stuff. But I think even more so to like to the depth of what you spoke to, which was being able to hear each other out, feelings, emotions, and all of that. You took a big step this year. Do you want to share?
Yeah. So, along with that, it's certain things that you can talk with your spouse about. Me being a man, black man, I can talk to my wife about, just the common things. But when it gets, deeper,
He can talk to me about anything.
anything. But for me, I felt like it was some things, okay, I didn't want to keep, you know, bringing to Shonda or feel like that I'm just, like a broken record. And I just felt like, maybe it was time to maybe like, go look for a therapist. So I did and found a good one. And he happened to actually, gave me a new perspective on how I look at life. So, and it's just been, a good impact on me. I've been able to just, take the feedback and, help and advice that he's been able to share with me and apply it to, my daily life afterwards. And so it's like seeing how I was, stuck in my head before to now, it's a big difference. And then just continuing to improve on that, it's been great. So, probably got a session coming up here shortly. But yeah, shout out to him, man. He dope. I like it. I like
Hmm.
him. So yeah,
Yeah.
and then I also want to say too is like you don't have to have your back against the wall or feel like the world's about to end to go see someone to talk to. Like you can just be like, you know what? I'm having questions, not getting an answer. Yeah, let me go take it, check it out and see. So
Yeah.
if you thinking about it, I say go ahead and do it. Especially, you know, for men, black men, definitely go ahead and do that. I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It don't hurt to try.
Yeah, and I think that like along the line, just echoing what Nate said, he wasn't in a space of just feeling like he wasn't in a bad space. He wasn't in a space of like a crisis mode, but he just
Right.
had like he would have recurring conversations that we would talk about, but it just wasn't there wasn't any resolve. And so we just started to have that conversation like what about therapy? And he took the step and went, and he's like I could immediately start to see the difference just in his like him just seeming lighter, like he had less going on in his head in terms of like just analysis, because Nate will analyze, analyze, analyze. And so it just really was refreshing to see the impact it had on him, but also to see him take initiative and do something for himself
Mhm.
and really like prioritize it. Like he would prep for his therapy session every time. So
Yeah.
I just think it was really beautiful, and I really respect. That's one thing that I really respect about my husband is like his dynamicness, like how dynamic he is. Like he is not just a dense person who does not take criticism, who doesn't take advice. He's very open to hear my opinion on things, to hear me out and not only hear me but listen. And I definitely do the same for him. I definitely try. There's times where I'm hard-headed and he'll let me know.
Yes, I will.
But I think all in all, like hearing your spouse, that's a great example of hearing your spouse and like offering them advice and solutions. Like not just always venting to each other, but being solution based.
Yeah.
Like hearing the problem and trying to help find a solution.
Yeah. And then other thing that we've been doing too is just opening the Bible and just trying to, be more to the word. You know, I've been in church, I can be better at we can go like, be better at going more, but it's just like I know, just building that relationship with God, just trying to, be more fluent like in it. It's like I believe in them, but it's one thing to say you believe in them, but then actually practicing. So it's like, all right, so just trying to open up the Bible, just read and actually like grasp, what I'm taking in, So I know that's a pause moment, but please no. So let me say that again.
It's not a pause moment. Y'all men and y'all moments.
So,
But
but yeah, so backtrack. We've been getting into the word more, so opening the Bible, just reading, just trying, just actually just fully understand like what we're like reading and then apply that to our daily lives. So
mhm,
definitely God is the head of the household. So it's like
yes,
go through him and then the rest follow. So
that's a
definitely.
very good point. Like definitely for us, being a Christian household, being believers and just really taking our faith seriously. We don't go to church every Sunday, but we tune in. When we don't go, we tune in sometimes virtually. We go in person because we do believe it's important to show up in church, to make sure you touch base just with the community. But it's also very important to have your own relationship with God. So I definitely by no means feel like you need to go to church every Sunday,
Hmm.
but I do think that prioritizing your faith is important. I don't do the best job. Like I'm not the perfect Christian, but I definitely realize and recognize that there's a difference when I dedicate time to my word, when I'm feeling uneasy about something and I pray prior to the situation, whatever it is. There's a calmness, there's a peace that I have when I walk into that situation.
Yeah.
And so I'm always talking to God. And at a young age, like teenage years, I realized that prayer brought me peace. And there's a calmness when you walk with God. So I'm always gonna, you know, be proud of my faith, to be proud to speak about it. We're definitely in a time now where people kind of shame people who speak about it. And also I think a lot of people feel like there's a lot of people online who are doing it for the wrong reasons.
Hmm.
Or a lot of like people just jumping into the word because it's popular. And my response to that is Okay. Like, there's so many things that people jump on board with. I'm
Right.
not saying make a mockery of God. I'm not saying, make a mockery of Jesus, but
Yeah, definitely not.
if somebody is pulled to start speaking about faith and start to explore it on their own, I'm not going to condemn that because there's so many other things online that I could condemn. So I
Mhm.
think that people have to be careful with their the way they utilize the word, especially when we have the world we live in now where social media exists. So it's very easy to get trapped in a space where you're doing it for social media.
Yeah.
But that's something that that person has to take up with God. I'm not going to judge them. I would rather see people talking about Jesus on social media
Yeah.
than talking about butt naked booties. Like
Yeah, no, true that, true that, because that's also a discussion too. Like fellas, it's like as enticing as it may be to stop and like what you're doing and scrolling and all that. Like, do not engage in that because that's just gonna, it's just a snowball effect.
you'll have to spend a lot of time reprogramming that algorithm.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm just saying from folks who've talked to me about it, it's just like, bro, don't even get caught up in that because one, two, and especially if you entertaining a lady, it's like just like you don't want to. It's kind of it's not kind of it is being disrespectful to her. It's like you have this person that you courting, and it's like okay, I've been told that okay, God makes His creations,
Mhm,
and we can admire creations. Like say if you watching a movie or something, like I'm sure you like, oh, he's a handsome guy. Oh, he's a pretty lady. That's as far as it could go
mhm.
if you're just admiring. But it's like when you start thinking of other things, and that's when like you this like becomes lustful and stuff like that. No, put it down. Like leave it alone. Cause that's a world of hurt, and you do not want to be in that. So just
Yeah, basically don't go down the path of lust.
yeah,
Be honorable to your spouse.
yeah,
Or the person you're courting. I think when we think about dating, and I won't be long winded on that because now we going into a whole nother episode. But when you think about dating, you need to date with intention. Like a lot of people who I know who are in their single season, they mention things about the other person's intentions. But no knocks to those people. There's times where I can recognize that that person is also not living in their intention. So it's like if you're dating someone and you expect them to court you properly, you have to do the same. And so it doesn't have to be as strict as, following every teaching in the Bible or um just putting pressure on yourself to be perfect in that walk.
mm,
But when it comes to a feeling of what you wouldn't want somebody to do to you, you have to walk that walk. Like on
yeah,
the woman's side, the man's side, on the other person's side, whatever your relationship looks like, whatever the makeup is of it. I know we're in a time, it's always been a time, but I know that there is same sex couples. It applies to any couple. When you are dating, you have to move in the way that you want the other person to move towards you. And it's just as simple as that. And so whatever you feel like is disrespectful, don't do it to that other person. And don't and be honest with yourself when something's not working out, be honest if you're not moving in a way where you're actually courting this person properly because I hear too many people say that person wasn't ready or that person wasn't serious, but then I see some of their behaviors and I'm like,
mm,
well, you weren't either. So just be honest because I think we're all in a time where we don't want our time wasted. So, I mean, if y'all got y'all intentions clear and y'all just want to have fun, that's cool. But if it comes to a point where you're seriously seeking a relationship, you're going to continue to waste your time if you know you're not being real in your actions.
yeah,
So that's my only advice on that. Yeah, and just to kind of put everything in a bow with who wears the pants and what I think what gender roles have become. I think whatever works for you. Like if y'all have strict or true gender roles in your relationship, if you have a relationship where the woman cooks or the feminine spouse cooks and the masculine spouse does more of the manly stuff, more of the housework, whatever. Um, that's cool. But other people's relationship doesn't have to look like that.
Mhm.
And I think that as long as respect is at the forefront, then you'll be okay.
Yeah,
Respect, communication, compromise, all of those things.
yeah. Respect is definitely the big one. That and communication. Um, Speak for the fellas. I think that's what we all yearn for is just to be respected and be able to you know not have to ask it, but just be like, but you have to earn it, but not beg for it. But yeah, respect is definitely big, and just you know partnership. It's nothing better than having a partner who is 100% supportive in whatever it is you want to do. So, yeah. So it's not really my, forte to give out advice, but just speaking from experience. So it's just like if y'all could pick up like anything from what I say or what we say, then I mean, shoot, I think it's a good thing right there.
Yes,
So
because we are not professionals. We are only speaking from our experience. And moving forward, we will continue to speak from experience. Do not take any advice from us in terms of like therapy, health, all of that. We're going to share with y'all what we do, but definitely do your research.
yeah,
Find somebody who is licensed to practice whatever information you are looking for. But stay tuning in with us because we're going to give you just a little bit of stuff from us, our personal journey. Sometimes we'll just completely be opinionated episode where we talking about some pop culture. You never know.
right. So with that,
Peace.
love,
Bay.
Baycast. We out.